Okay, so this is worksheet 2B. So this is the second video for lab 2, and we're going to diagnose a simple circuit with this video. In this case, the customer's complaint is the horn is not working. So we're going to diagnose the horn in this vehicle and see what's going on with it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, of course, is verify the customer's complaint. So I'm quickly going to go and push on this horn pad and we'll see what happens. Alright, so I'm pushing on the horn pad right now and we have no horn, so obviously the customer's complaint has been verified. So the first thing we're going to do with an electrical or a circuit type problem, of course, is get a wiring diagram. So we have a wiring diagram here for this particular system. So our wiring diagram is here. Okay, so this is a very simple system. We have hot at all times coming in at the top, going through a relay to the horn. The horn is grounded directly to the chassis. We have a switch, which is our horn pad, which is at the steering wheel, and that is controlling the circuit to ground. There is a clock spring in the diagram, which indicates this vehicle has airbags. And this is the control side of the relay. We can see power is fed to the control side of the relay from the same connector that feeds power through the load side. So we're going to highlight this quickly. So I have some highlighters here. This is something that I've done throughout my career, and I recommend that you follow suit when you leave the college and graduate and are out on your own fixing cars. I found this to be extremely helpful. Alright, so we are going to, I will just hold it here so you can see it while we do it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to color code is, of course, power in. So hot at all times right here. So we're going to go pink right down to my relay. That's direct battery power. It also connects here, goes across here to the control side of my relay. So I have direct battery power to this relay at all times. Alright, so coming from the relay to the horn, we're going to have switch power. So after it leaves this relay, we're going to have switch power to the horn. Alright, the horn itself, is grounded right to the chassis. So we're going to go blue right there, direct chassis ground, and of course our horn pad is grounded directly through the steering column to the chassis as well. The last color we need, of course, is the control for this relay. And you can see right here that when we take this to ground, or we push on this horn pad, we're going to ground our relay. So the control side of this relay is switched ground, and it's going directly to chassis ground through the horn pad right here. Clock spring, this is a mechanism that is for the airbag system, and it allows us to rotate the steering wheel in both directions and still maintain a electrical connection. Okay, so we've highlighted our diagram. We'll put this off to the side for a moment. So how are we going to test this? What is our plan of attack? So we verified the customer's complaint. So what we're going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is go to the component, which happens to be down here behind the grill, and we're going to see if we have what we should have added, which would be, of course, power and ground. So I'm going to move the camera so so we can get a better look at this. Okay, and I'm going to pull this grill back, and you'll be able to see inside where the horn is. So you can see the wire there, and I'll just move us over a little bit more. Okay, and we can see the horn. So the horn is right here, and this is a harness going to it right there. So I have two wires, power and ground. Very, very simple circuit. The top wire, being the gray wire, is my power. The wire below that, the black wire, is of course my ground. So the first thing that I'm going to do is verify that I have both of those at the device. So I'm going to take a back probe. Okay, we have a back probe here, and I'm going to back probe the gray wire. So the gray wire is, so that is my power wire. So there's a couple of different ways to do this. I can use both either a test light or a meter. We will do it with both. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is use a test light. So this is the same test light that I used in the fuse testing video. Okay, and we're going to connect that to battery ground. I'm going to verify that it works. Always verify that your test light is working, and now I'm going to put it into the back probe. And I'm just going to let this sit like it is, and we can see it there. And now I'm going to go push on the horn pad. I should have power here with the horn pad pushed. Okay, so I'm pushing on the horn pad. And we have no power available to this horn. So while I'm here, I'm going to test the ground as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my back probe and put it into my ground wire. So I'm going to back probe the black wire now. And now I'm going to take my test light and I am going to go to battery positive. And we can see that the horn is indeed grounded. Okay, my test light is on. So what we're looking at is from here to ground. We've just verified I'm right here at this point. We verified that this is good. So we have no power here, which is what our problem is. This is why the horn is not operating. So our problem is either between the horn and the relay, possibly the fuse is blown, or we have a problem with the relay itself. So that's with a test light. We're going to repeat this with a multimeter now. Okay, you can use either tool for this. So I have a multimeter here. We'll put it on our 20 volt scale. And I will set it so hopefully you can see it. It's going to be a little bit awkward, but that's all right. We'll manage. All right, so there is the meter. We can see it. Okay, so I am going to check the ground first because I've already got it back probed. So I'm going to go from battery positive. Okay, and I'm going to go to back probe this, and we should show source voltage, which we do. All right, so you can use a meter or a test light. Now the difference between a meter and a test light is a meter is going to show us the available voltage, but it's not going to load the circuit. Okay, now the test light, even though it's a small amount of load, will put a load on the circuit. So it is, in some ways, a better tool for doing testing like this. All right, so now I'm going to move my back probe up to the gray wire, and I am going to Go to battery negative and we can see we have 0 volts. Okay, so now I'm just going to go push on the horn pad and we'll see what we've got. Okay, so that's with the horn pad pushed in. Of course, we still have 0 volts. We have no power there. So that's testing the same thing with 2 different tools, a meter or a test light. So I'm simply going to put this away for a moment. Alright, so how are we going to tackle this now? We have no power to this horn. Alright, so we're just going to put this out of the way for a minute. So what we are going to do is go to our fuse relay box and we're going to do a little bit of testing from that position. So I'm going to reposition this camera again so we can take a good look at that. So we're just going to move everything here so we can see the fuse relay box, which is right there. Okay, we can see the meter, so we have a good view of everything. Okay, so looking at this fuse relay box, move my test light here for a second. Looking at this fuse relay box, we have a cover here that is removed. And up at the top of the cover we can see we have our horn relay, and down at the bottom we have our horn fuse. So the first thing I'm going to do is test the fuse according to my wiring diagram. We'll get that here. Okay, according to the diagram, that fuse is hot at all times. So I should have power on it right now without touching anything. So I'm going to ground my lead for my test light, and just like we did in the fuse checking video, we are going to test this fuse. And that would be, always verify your test light. Come on. Okay, make sure it is good. And we are down here. And there is our horn fuse. And the other side of it. So both sides of our horn fuse is good. So it's not a fuse issue. Whatever the problem is, where we have no power to this horn, it is not a fuse. Now, why didn't I just go randomly looking for a blown fuse to begin with? Because that's a waste of time. Okay, I'm not going to look for a blown fuse till I've verified that I have no power to the component. Otherwise, I'm just wasting time. I see a lot of guys go right to the fuse box and just start going through the fuse box, randomly looking to get lucky with a blown fuse. Okay, that's not the proper way we're going to do diagnosis. We're going to go right to the component that's not operating, and we're going to see if we have power and ground to it. That's what we need in order for this component to operate. Okay, so looking at this once again, we verified our fuse is good. We can see our horn relay is right at the top of our relay box. So my horn relay is right here. Alright, so I'm going to pull out the relay for a moment. Now, looking at our diagram here, we still see this? Alright, so looking at the diagram, I should have power at 2 terminals of this relay at all times. Okay, I don't need to turn the ignition on. This is hot and run, hot at all times, sorry. I should have power here and here. So I'm going to check both the control side and the load side of this relay with my test light and verify that. Alright, so we can see right here, this is the control side of this relay, and we have power. Okay, the other side, of course, should have nothing because we need to turn this relay on. And then when we're looking at the load side, there is the other power. Okay, so we have power on both sides of this relay. All right. Now, if I have an open between here and the relay, if I apply power through my test light to the other side of the relay, I'm showing it grounded. Now, what have I just done? This is the load side. This is what goes out to the horn. If that wire is broken, this is not going to light. Why is this lighting? Because I'm finding ground through my horn, through its ground, which we've already verified. Alright, so I've just verified that from my relay box to my horn, through my horn to ground, is good. I have continuity. Alright, so really we've narrowed this down already to basically a problem with the relay. Now, there's different ways to do this. I can obviously remove a relay from somewhere else and try it. And that's the way most guys would do it, and to be honest with you, if we were in the shop and I was diagnosing this, I'm at that point now where I would do the same thing. And I'm going to take this other relay and I'm going to verify my repair. So we need a relay. Alright. But we're going to do something a little bit different. Okay, so that is the way that we would commonly do it if we had a relay box with all the same relays like we do here. However, what if this was a one-of-a-kind? What if you didn't have another relay like this on the vehicle? Are we just going to guess and order one and try it? What if this was at a $100 relay? Okay, so we need to have a way to verify that this relay is good or not based on testing. So I'm going to show you a little harness that I've made up. Okay, now you can buy adapters that go between the relay and the relay box, and they work very, very well. However, they're very simple to make as well. So what you see here, I've got a double end on each one of these wires. So one's going to go into the relay, the other end is going to go into the relay box. Okay, and now I'm going to have the relay in my circuit and I'm going to have a testing port. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one into the hot at all times, which would be pin 30 basically. This is going to be my control, the brown. So that is going to go onto the other side. So that is the part that's going to go out to the horn. And then I have a yellow and a blue, and these are going to be the control side of my relay. So I'm going to put them in the relay box as well. Just plug that in there. This one's a little bit loose, but it should work. And this one in here. There we go. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is take my relay and just simply plug it in. So that is going to go there. Blue is going to go on here. So there's the control side of my relay. The red we're going to put to here. And the brown in the center. So the brown is going to be out from the relay to the component. So now I have the relay in my circuit, and I also have these 4 testing ports that I can use to test this circuit with. And I'm going to do all my testing right from this location. Okay, now that doesn't matter that this is a horn relay. This could be a fuel pump relay. This relay could be for really anything in the vehicle. I'm going to do my testing exactly the same way. Okay, so we've already verified our voltages, but we're just going to redo that with this little harness on here. So I'm going to ground my test light once again and verify its operation. So my yellow is my power coming into my control side. My red is my power going to my load side. Alright, so we need to confirm the other 2 wires. Now we already confirmed that this works. Okay, now in this case, if we look at our diagram, okay, the other side of my control, which is in this case my blue wire, is going to ground. So how could I verify this with this setup? Well, what I'm going to do is take my test light and go to battery positive. So with my test light on battery positive, I'm going to put it in my blue connector. Okay, so it's in my blue connector. We've got it laying here. Hopefully we can see that. Let me just double check. So when I push on this horn, I've powered up my test light. My test light is going to light. Okay, so now I've just verified that my horn pad is good and the control side of my relay is working. Okay, so that is a really quick test. I've just verified that. Not only that, but using a test light, I've put a slight load on it as well. Okay, so obviously what we're looking for is power out to our device. Okay, and right now, okay, I am showing power. Once again, this is the same thing I did when I back probed the wire going down. So what I've got right now, okay, I'm actually back probed here. I'm sure we can see that okay. So I am back probed right there, and I am finding ground through the horn to this point. So I'm verifying that this wire works right now. When I push the horn pad, if this circuit is working properly, that light should go out because I'm taking this voltage now to ground. And I'm using it through the horn, so I'm consuming it. But of course, that's not going to happen because I have no continuity through it. Okay, I have a problem with the contacts in this relay. So let's put this off to the side for a moment and let's get our voltmeter out. So with our voltmeter, we'll turn it on. The maximum spec for a voltage drop across the contacts of my relay is of course 0.3 volts. So when I plug this in here, okay, we're showing source voltage. Once again, we're finding ground through the horn to ground. Okay, when I push the horn pad, if this relay is actually operating correctly, we will see that go to 0.3 or preferably 0 volts. So I'm going to push the horn pad right now, and as we can see, the voltage is not changing, and that's because this relay, the contacts are no good in it. I'm going to get another relay, and we're going to repeat this with a good known relay so you can see the difference. Alright, so we have a good known relay here, and we're going to repeat this. So let me just disconnect this. Come on. These fit quite snugly. There we go. Alright, so actually put that off to the side here. Alright, so we're going to plug this one back in now. So my yellow and red are my control side. Sorry, my yellow and blue. My brown, where are you here? So brown is going out to my horn. And red, of course, is my hot at all times, feeding the load side of my circuit. Alright, so verify. Oh, we've got a lead out here, so that's no good. Plug that in. So my brown wire popped out on me. Everybody's good now. So when I push this horn now, it should blow. This is a good relay, and this should go to 0 volts. Make sure you can see it through the camera there. Good. Okay, so you can see that voltage drop when I turn that on. And that is the voltage drop across the contacts of this relay. I'm just going to repeat it one more time here. Okay, so we can see the voltage drop. Now the spec for that is 0.3 volts, right? The spec for any switch when we do a voltage drop across it is 0.3 volts. Kind of hard to see that. All right, so this is how we're going to verify that we have a good relay, right? Or if it's a relay problem or not. Like I said, if this was a relay that you did not have the opportunity of switching it with another relay, this is how we'd go about verifying whether it was a relay or a circuit problem. Okay, so that is your wiring diagram, and this is your worksheet. So you're going to fill this out based on what we've done in this video. Okay. And there's some steps that I used in the diagnosis. So I want you to watch the video and fill out these steps. And that is the end of this video.